Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Budget Committee. We do have regrets today from Councillor Alan Elgar, who had a previous engagement that was already in his calendar well before we were booking Budget Committee meetings. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? See none. Then going on the agenda today, we have the first item is a consent item, Municipal Act 2001, Regulation 28409, Budget Matters. Okay, Councillor O'Meara has moved that item. Are there any questions? Then all those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. We're going to move to the main item of the day, which is the overview of the 2015 operating and capital budget. Members of committee and our friends who are also here today, you should have copies of the book in front of you, and Nancy Sully is going to provide us with a presentation overview on it.
Why isn't the mouse working?
Oh, sorry, before we go to that, I need to make the required reading of any member of the public wishing to speak further regarding an issue on the 2015 Budget Committee agenda may appear before Council at its meeting on February 23rd, 2015 at 7 p.m. when the recommendations from this meeting will go forward for final consideration. If you wish to speak as a delegation, please sign the sheet located at the back of the room or notify the Clerk's Department no later than noon the day of the Council meeting. Any PowerPoint presentations must also be forwarded to the Clerk's Department no later than noon the day of the meeting. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. Through you, Mr. Chair. Today I'm going to provide an overview of the 2015 operating and capital budgets. Our first Budget Committee meeting took place on January the 20th, where we had the election of the Budget Committee Chair. Our 2015 rates and fees were approved, with the exception of student transit fare increases, which were held to 2014 rates. At that same meeting, we obtained a pre-approval for some capital projects that needed to begin prior to the approval of the 2015 budget. Council in 2014 gave staff direction on the preparation of the 2015 and 16 budgets and forecasts, that they be prepared with an overall tax increase in line with inflation for the consideration of the next Council. The budget I'm presenting today has been prepared in accordance with this direction. We have several budget meetings taking place over the next few weeks. Today's meeting, again, is for an overview of the budget as well as the release of the budget documents. Staff presentations will take place on March the 5th and March 9th if required. Public delegations are scheduled for March the 11th, budget deliberations on March the 23rd, and final approval at Council on March the 30th. Council set a target for the budget at an overall increase in line with inflation. When we prepared the budget back in the summer, CPI was in the 2% range. It's dropped a little bit recently because of gas prices dropping. However, gas prices have been extremely volatile. As a result, we have prepared the budget in accordance with a 2% inflation line, which is in line with core inflation. The budget being presented today, however, is well below core inflation. The overall increase in the prepared budget is 1.53%. There are no service reductions in the recommended budget. The budget ensures the programs and services valued by our residents are maintained. It provides funding for infrastructure renewal as well as the operating cost of prior year decisions. This is the first budget in this term of Council. Council will be undergoing a strategic planning session next week, and from there, the priorities for the term will be determined. As a result, the budget before you today focuses on ensuring the ongoing delivery of service, maintaining the overall tax increase in line with inflation, and keeping our infrastructure in a state of good repair. While this budget could be considered a status quo budget, the town continues to focus on customer service improvements, and many improvements have been included in the 2015 budget as being presented today. This includes after-hour call service for evenings and weekends. As well, we are increasing our online presence, giving people the ability to move from telephone service to online service, including temporary parking permits this year. Our intelligent transportation system will go live in September. This will provide the opportunity for transit users to have up-to-date information on bus service and when a bus will arrive at their designated stop. We've streamlined our street permit process through reorganization in our engineering and construction program and our development engineering. And the budget includes funding for the very successful Children's Festival that first took place in 2014. The budget continues to be prepared using performance-based, program-based budgeting methodology. The focus is on programs and services and the outcomes desired by those programs. Performance measures are a key component of PB2. We continue to refine our performance measures, and work on this will continue during 2015 to increase the effectiveness in reporting our results. The budget documents presented today include detailed program measures for each of our 26 programs in the town, and those can be found in the operating budget document that you've received. As a lower tier municipality, the town is one portion of the overall tax bill, representing approximately 40%. The remaining 60% is levied on behalf of the region and the province for education purposes. The budget that I'm presenting today focuses on that 40%. When this is combined with the region and education, it gives you the overall increase, and it represents the cost of delivering all municipal services to our residents. It can be compared with Toronto, Hamilton, or Guelph as single-tier municipalities. There are two components to our base budget. The first provides for the same level of service as in 2014 and includes the impact of prior decisions such as increased caravan service and the opening of a fire station in North Oakville. The increase for existing services is 1.51%. The impact of incorporating the operating costs of prior year decisions is 1.46%. Assessment growth generates new taxes without increasing the tax levy. This year, because the budget's being delivered later than normal, we have the returned roll from MPAC, and based on that roll, we have added 1.78% in assessment growth in the 2015 budget. This chart summarizes the increases that I identified on the previous slides. The overall base budget increase to maintain existing services is 1.19%, or 0.47% on the overall tax bill, resulting in $4.13 increase per 100,000 of assessment. To assist in keeping property taxes in line with inflation, the CAO undertook a service delivery review in 2012. At that time, it was stated that it would probably take 2 years to complete. All town programs were reviewed to determine where efficiencies could be introduced. The CAO set a goal of $3 million in permanent savings through this review. Tax stabilization funding was used in 2013 in the budget in advance of achieving those savings. In 2013 and 2014, a total of $2.8 million in savings were identified. During 2014, an additional $334,000 in savings have been identified. Those are now included in the 2015 budget, bringing the total efficiencies achieved to $3.1 million. This chart just shows how those efficiencies were achieved. The department identified reductions are efficiencies that were identified by our program managers, and those include staffing efficiencies, new programs, and a realignment of service delivery. We worked with Oakville Hydro on streetlight rebasing to achieve some efficiencies, as well material supplies, recoveries from municipalities were all reviewed and accounted for $1.1 million of the savings. A corporate review of various line items was also undertaken. This accounted for $1.2 million of the savings and included reducing the number of commissions from 4 to 3, a reduction of external consulting and professional fees, increased gapping savings, part-time alignment of our staffing, as well as reviewing all of our capital projects, growth-related projects, to ensure that we were covering the management cost of those projects in the capital projects. Our capital levy was introduced and approved by Council in 1996. It provides an important source of funding for our capital budget, and it is an integral source of funding in our long-term forecast. The levy recognizes the need for a long-term funding source for infrastructure renewal. The benefits of having a levy can be seen in the report that was on today's agenda. Under Regulation 28409, we're required to identify the impact of budgeting for amortization costs would have on our budget. While the Municipal Act does not require us to budget for amortization, we have to ensure that we are setting aside the appropriate amount of funding to repair and maintain our infrastructure. The report on the agenda shows that we are actually budgeting more in infrastructure renewal funding than our amortization costs. This is a really good thing. You know, you're replacing assets based on the replacement value, so amortization is historical value, but we are much further ahead than many municipalities in this regard. And while we do this, it adds 1% to our tax rate each year. If we were to forego this 1% levy, we would be pushing those costs on to the next generation. The base operating budget has increased by 1.19%. This is the cost of operating existing services and accommodating capital-driven operating costs. Our capital levy and increased funding for road resurfacing add an additional 1.16% to the tax increase. This brings the town's portion of the property tax bill increase to 2.35%. This is a little higher than what's shown in the budget documents that you have, the hard copy, as this has been revised to reflect the student transit fares being maintained at 2014 rates. It had a slight increase in our tax levy as a result. Assuming no change in the education portion of our tax rates, as has been the case in many years, and the region's approved budget, the overall increase for the 2015 budget is 1.53%, or $13.35 per 100,000 of assessment. The gross expenditures proposed in our budget total $282.6 million. This is the cost of running the town's programs and services. The largest program expenditure is in corporate revenue and expenses, followed by emergency services and infrastructure maintenance. Our net tax levy for 2015 is $164.4 million. This chart shows the tax levy funding by program. The net program budgets differ from the allocation of gross expenditures, as many of our programs are either partially or fully subsidized through fees. The largest program is emergency services at $33.5 million, followed by transit at $19.8 million and infrastructure maintenance at $19.3 million. Some of our programs, such as parking and building, do not have any tax levy support. This slide just shows a breakdown of the other programs that were identified on the previous pie chart and includes some of our smaller programs, such as facilities and construction management, political governance, and infrastructure planning and improvements. The tax levy is increased by $6.5 million in 2015. 5 programs account for $6 million of this increase. Our corporate revenue and expense program includes the funding envelope for capital, for debt charges, transfers to reserves, and financial expenses not related to particular programs, such as audit fees. The increase in this program relates to our capital levy. The largest program increase is in emergency services. This reflects the full year impact of the new firefighters hired in 2014 for Station 9, as well as contractual increases in salaries and benefits. Our second largest increase in programs is in infrastructure maintenance. This program provides the maintenance of roads, storm sewers, and traffic infrastructure. The increase reflects higher hydro costs for street lighting this year, as well as the annualized impact of the North Operations Depot. Our next largest increase is in recreation and culture, and this program reflects the impact of the increase in the part-time wage grid. The part-time wage increase that was legislated in the spring of 2014 has been particularly impacted this program because so much of the program is delivered through part-time staff. As well, funding in this program is provided for the special events strategy and the Children's Festival. Oakville Transit has the 4th largest increase and includes the impact of increased caravan service that's required to ensure that we're providing the service required under AODA. This chart breaks down the gross expenditures by cost component rather than by program. Our largest component of the budget is on personnel services and benefits. Personnel costs include the annualized impact of new positions that were approved in 2014, positions that are included in the base as a result of completed capital projects, as well as inflationary wage and benefit adjustments. Materials and supplies include our fuel budget. The budget was based on fuel prices back in August and September. Those prices have dropped since that time, creating some room in the budget. However, there's been a lot of volatility in prices, and the prices have begun to rise in recent weeks. At this time, we're recommending that we don't change the budget. We will be reviewing our fuel costs as we go forward this year and making a recommendation to council if we should be transferring some of those savings to reserves. And we'll be reviewing our fuel budgets as part of the 2016 budget to ensure they're in line with the prices expected. The Municipal Act requires us to produce a balanced budget. This chart shows our funding sources for the $282.6 million in gross expenditures. Taxation accounts for 58.2% of our overall revenues in the budget. This just shows you, based on $100 of taxes paid, where that money goes. The highest component of our budget is on infrastructure renewal, followed by emergency services and our road network. The budget that's being presented today does not include new requests. There are 2 new requests that are recommended by staff to meet increased demand as the town grows. The first is in our recreation services program and is for the conversion of a part-time facility booking clerk to full-time. And in our roads and works department, our fleet section is requesting an increase in complement in the mechanic section to reflect the increase in demand for service. This request has been phased over 2 years to minimize the impact on the tax levy. There are also 2 requests that council may wish to consider. The first is for the seniors windrow program to reduce the hours after a snowfall for clearing the windrow. And the second is for a fire fit training tower. This request would be in the capital budget and is partially funded through donations. However, there would be an amount required by the town and an ongoing operating cost with that project. At this time, we have 6 items that were referred to the Budget Committee. 3 of those items are addressed in the 2015 budget. There is funding in the capital budget for the Oakville Arena redevelopment. $975,000 is included in the budget, and that is to do detailed design work for the arena project. Typically, design work takes approximately a year to complete, so we'll put the RFP out for tender after the budget's approved. That process takes a couple of months, and from there they'll go into detailed design. As well, there's funding in the budget for the Oakville Children's Festival, and our budget, of course, has come in under the guideline of inflation for 2015. The other 3 referrals to the Budget Committee will be provided to Council in the agenda for the March 5th Budget Committee meeting, and they will be addressed by the Commissioners during their presentations. The overall impact of the proposed 2015 budget is 1.53%. The budget meets Council's guideline, it's fiscally sustainable, and ensures the programs and services valued by our residents are maintained, with spending reflecting the public's priorities. It also ensures sufficient funding to operate and maintain new infrastructure and continues past practice of providing funding to maintain our existing infrastructure. Budget documents have been laid out in 2 different books this year to assist the Budget Committee and Council in the decision-making process. The first document is our operating budget book. This document provides an executive summary of the budget as well as detailed program budgets for all 26 town programs, performance indicators, as well as schedules on the staff complement, debt, and reserves. The second document is a more detailed capital budget book, and in this document you will find details on each of the 2015 proposed capital budget projects. The 2016 and 2017 forecasts are presented for information to assist the Budget Committee and Council in looking at the current projected tax increases over the next 2 years. The projections include inflationary increases, the operating impacts of capital projects, but do not include any service enhancements or the annualized impact of any new requests that may be considered as part of the 2015 budget. This chart just highlights the components driving the increase in the budget in future years. In 2016 and 17, we are assuming 1.5% in assessment growth. The largest driver of the increase in those years is inflation, followed by the operating impact of capital projects. Those will be reviewed as we go forward with the 2016 budget process, but right now the operating impacts are primarily driven through transit, the increase in caravan service, as well as new buses. This chart summarizes the overall tax impact for 2015 to 2017. Again, it assumes in the forecast that there are no increases in service levels beyond those currently provided. Currently, we're projecting, based on the region of Halton's forecasted increases and no increase in education, for 2016, we're forecasting 2.36%, and for 2017, 2.12%. At this time, I'm presenting the 2015 capital budget. The long-term forecast will be presented to Council in November as part of the 2016 budget. This will allow us time to incorporate the various studies currently underway, such as the Downtown Transportation Plan and the Cultural Hub Study. The 2015 capital budget totals $203.5 million, of which $73.5 million is for town programs. The remaining $130 million is for the hospital contribution. The largest component of the budget for town programs is infrastructure planning at $26 million, or 35.5% of the budget. Of this amount, $12.8 million is for road infrastructure improvements to service growth, and $5.6 million is for rehabilitating our existing infrastructure. The second largest program is Parks and Open Space, totaling $19.9 million, or 27% of our capital budget. This program includes funding to continue our EAB program, as well as landscape works in 16 Mile Creek West Shore and our Uptown Core Memorial Park. This chart identifies the funding sources for the 2015 capital budget for town programs. The hospital contribution is being funded $90 million through debentures and $40 million from reserves. The largest funding source for town programs is our capital levy at 32.4% of the overall funding envelope. This is our primary funding source for infrastructure renewal projects and allows our assets to be maintained without reliance on debt. Our second largest funding source is development charges, which is used as the primary funding source for our growth-related capital projects. There is a little bit of debt financing included in our town budget, and that is for our harbor's dredge, and it will be repaid through harbor fees. This chart just identifies the top 10 dollar value projects in our capital budget for 2015. The largest value project is our road resurfacing and preservation program at $7.1 million, followed by 6-line north of Dundas Road improvement to service growth, and then our EAB management program. It's essential that municipalities maintain adequate reserves to mitigate current and future risks and ensure stable tax rates. The town's reserves and reserve funds ensure we are fiscally resilient and can meet unforeseen events and be in a position to take advantage of opportunities that may arise. In 2014, we used stabilization reserves to mitigate the impact of the ice storm until we receive funding from the province. As well, we have used reserves in the past to take advantage of opportunities to purchase the school sites and our post office building. The town has 3 categories of reserves. The first is our stabilization reserves. These reserves protect us from unforeseen events and are used to mitigate the impact of one-time expenditures on our budget. Our stabilization reserves were used for the ice storm this year. The Government Finance Officers Association recommends having stabilization reserves at 2 months of gross expenditures in your budget. Our reserves are in line with this recommendation. Operational reserves are used to offset fluctuations in program budgets for expenditures or revenues, and those include reserves to support our election program every 4 years, our building enterprise, and our storm event reserve. Our building enterprise reserve was particularly valuable to us in the downturn in the economy in 2009, as we were able to draw from this reserve to maintain operations and not impact the tax levy for the drop in permit revenue from building permits. Our capital and equipment reserves are used to fund life cycle replacement of our assets. They're also used to fund unknown contingencies. If there was a major building component failure, we would draw from our capital reserves. And credit rating agencies recommend a debt to reserve ratio of 1:1. The town reserves meet this requirement. I know it's a little bit hard to read, but this slide shows the projected reserve and reserve fund balances for 2015. based on our proposed operating and capital budgets. They're projected to total $192.7 million at the end of 2015. Overall, our town reserves are in a very healthy position. While our DC reserve funds are projected to be in a negative balance based on estimated revenue collections and projected expenditures, we have timed our capital forecast and will continue to review our long-term forecast to ensure those reserves return to a positive balance. This chart shows the outstanding debt balance for 2015. The town plans to issue $91.8 million in debt this year. $90 million of this relates to our hospital contribution. While this debt is tax supported, there will be no impact on the tax levy, as additional dividend from Oakville Hydro and reserves will be used to fund the debt charges. The remaining debt is for the harbor's dredge and will be repaid through harbor fees. New in 2015, we're introducing a map that will be put on the town website probably in the next day or so. This map allows residents to look at all of our capital projects by location. So in this case, I don't think my mouse is working, but the circled dot there, I've clicked on that, and what it does is it provides you with details on that project. So in this case, it's at Uptown Core Memorial Park. It tells you that the department overseeing that project, sorry, not sure what happened there, is Parks and Open Space. It's a growth project funded from development charges, and the 2015 budget is $1.5 million. Oh, thank you. If I was to click on that on the website, it would actually provide more information and give you a description of the project. So this, oh, now it's working. Okay, so that's the park there. Our roads projects are these dotted lines, so that's that 6-line project that I was talking about. So this will go on the website and it'll allow residents to go on and look at the projects taking place in their area. We also use this now as an internal planning tool. So as part of the preparation of the long-term forecast, we layer our growth expectations in there. We look at the timing of projects, the timing of region projects to ensure our road projects are lining up. So more and more we're starting to rely on GIS mapping to assist us in our planning. The budget documents have been distributed today and will be posted on our website before the end of today's meeting. We've scheduled the next meeting in 2 weeks to allow you time to review those documents and ask any questions that you may have. 2 meetings have been scheduled for delegations on March the 11th, one in the morning and one in the evening, to provide residents and stakeholders with an opportunity to provide input into the budget process. Deliberations are scheduled for March the 23rd, and again, council approval on March the 30th. We will be sending out an amendment proposal form to you as we have in past years. This allows all council members the opportunity to submit requests that they would like the budget committee to review and deliberate on. We're asking that they be returned to finance by March the 18th to give us time to compile them for the March 23rd deliberations. There are many ways for the public to take part in our budget process. A number of steps have been taken to ensure our residents are informed of the process and the recommended budget. As mentioned, all the information distributed today will be on our website. As well, copies of the executive summary are available for those who would like them. Residents can provide input through our budget email or by making delegations to our budget committee. 2 budget open houses have been scheduled to provide an informal venue for residents to come and ask questions about the budget. And our meetings are all available for viewing on Town TV. And that concludes my overview of the 2015 operating and capital budgets.
Thank you very much. Mayor Burton, did you have questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Nancy. Ms. Sully, this is a terrific budget, and I salute the hard work that's gone through here, and it really shows, especially when you consider the 3 years of CAO-driven efficiencies. Mm-hmm. And I have a question about that. But first, I'd like to ask about assessment growth. Over the years, I've come to realize that MPAC runs a roll periodically, and I've never been clear about when the really final one shows up. Is it April?
No, the roll is actually returned in December, usually the first week of December.
So this is the absolutely final
This is the
real number.
absolute final number that we are billing our taxes based on.
All righty. Good to clear that up. And turning now to the CAO efficiency review, Mr. Green, this is a remarkable achievement, and as we went through the details of it, I would characterize almost all of it as efficiency gains as opposed to productivity gains. And I'm wondering if the efficiency stone, because this is not the first time that you've done this review over the last 8 years, are we getting to the point where the efficiency stone has been squeezed dry, and for any future gains we're going to have to focus on productivity gains? What's your sense of where we're at, big picture?
Thank you very much, Mayor Burton. You're quite correct. I mean, if we go back to the start of the recession at 2008, we have been on a track looking at predominantly efficiency gains, and I believe we've probably, as well as looking at, you know, when we looked at particularly that last round of cuts, not every dollar has that same value, and so we looked at where some of our money was going as well in terms of delivery of our services. Where I believe we are now, and what I am beginning a program with our staff, is to actually look at how perhaps we begin to transform some of our services and look at other innovative ways of delivering service. So I think certainly from an efficiency, as you say, squeezing the cloth, we've gone that. Now we really need to look at other different ways of doing things as well.
So does that imply exploring more opportunities to proceed as we did with the soccer center, for example?
Absolutely.
All right, so that would be a third category. That's really not productivity or efficiency. I guess that's your word, transformation. Alternate service delivery models, some people might call it. All right, thank you for that. When we, Nancy, when we come to the capital levy, really, I have to congratulate previous councils and the population of our town, because to my knowledge, no one else has exhibited the unbroken discipline that this town has exhibited on that capital renewal levy of 1%, no matter what. We maintain that even during the recession. And as the capital budget shows, or as actually the statistic you highlighted is the best one, the fact that our contribution exceeds our depreciation needs puts us in incredibly good shape. I'm always conscious, however, of the asset management plan imperative from the province and the sort of gradual rollout of that. My perception is that we're ahead of schedule on that, and I'm wondering, can we conclude from that the statistic that you highlighted, where we're exceeding depreciation, that we're in great shape to meet or exceed the requirements of the AMP when we get to the point where we have to fund renewal? And I mean, we haven't got to the end of this process, have we?
No, we haven't got to the end of it. We have made great strides. Our asset management program is very detailed. We are using it for our capital budgeting process. Our roads are going into the asset registry. They're in the asset registry, but the actual maintenance is going in this year, and our stormwater is the final portion to go. Based on some analysis that I've done going out, we have sufficient funding to maintain our assets. We will always have to contribute to reserves as new assets come on, but we are in a much better place than many, many municipalities. And I would say that we're the envy of many of the treasurers out there that are trying to implement levies because they've got this huge gap that they just can't catch up with.
Yeah, I can tell you that at the meeting 2 weeks ago with 24 GTA mayors and the premier, the song of woe from every other municipality was something to hear. And they're basically asking the province to bail them out.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we look pretty good here. And I congratulate staff for helping us achieve that discipline. Now, when we come to the fuel costs, I've noticed that in the last 3 weeks, fuel has gone up 3 weeks in a row now. And it's almost, if you look at a chart of the price of fuel since it fell, it's starting to look like it might be it's bottomed with a sharp peak and head back up, and the heading back up curiously resembles the very slope of the downward roll. So I take it that your staff advice to us is that this is way too volatile to be thinking of harvesting any savings here.
I think through Mr. Chair, one of the things we should realize that our fuel prices, which are commercial vendor type fuel supplies, don't go through that same fluctuation. So when you see some of these bottom prices that you've seen earlier, we're not seeing that in the commercial market. They tend to be much more gradual, and we've not come down in that same competitiveness that you've seen from a corner station to another corner station. So the volatility is not the same in the commercial market. We have enjoyed savings, but not what one would see as a consumer going with your personal car. So that's what our caution is.
Okay. And your preference would be, if there is a savings there, that we would replenish our reserves.
That's correct.
All right. Turning to the tax levy chart, where it shows where the tax dollars go. I've noticed over the years that people would like, there is a number of people who want to unpack the total tax change. That's the sum of the region and the town and the education into those three pieces. And I've always thought that it might be even more interesting to unpack the town's piece in terms of changes. So having regard to this chart where it shows infrastructure renewal, emergency services, and so on, where the tax dollars go, would it be very hard to provide us with an annotation that says how much each of those things is going up or down?
No, we can do that for you.
And that would sort of unpack it further, so that people who wanted to look at sub pieces could really get into sub pieces. All right, thank you for that. Then on my last question, on the town reserve slide, you mentioned storm events, and I'm aware that our request to the province of the storm-damaged municipalities has seen some money start to flow, but not all of what we applied for. And yet, I'm very aware that we were scrupulous about following their exact guidelines, so that we thought we could maximize our assurance that we would get what we were asking for. And indeed, there's been some side communication to the effect of, this is the down payment, there's more to come. So what I'm looking for the public at this point is, what impact, if any, is possible to the tax from the ice storm? Is this a purely, fully segregated to the reserve part of the budget? Could we have a tax impact here, depending on the final number that we get from the province?
No, there won't be a tax impact. What we've done is Council made the decision last year to reduce the funding to our Emerald Ash Borer program by $2 million, because forestry was really working on the ice storm, and so that impacted their delivery of that program. So that reduced our budget by $2 million. The ice storm costs were approximately $6 million. That left us with $4 million. We have, through the surplus, we've managed some of it, that we will be pulling from tax stabilization to fund the rest of it. So if whatever we don't get back from the province will end up coming out of our tax stabilization reserve.
Right. That's very reassuring, and so I'll just conclude by thanking everyone for their hard work on this outstanding budget. The requests that we have to consider on those 2 pages, the recommended and the unrecommended, are certainly intriguing, and I think will be the occasion of very interesting discussions, and I look forward to that. Thank you, everyone.
Very good. Councillor DeMoff.
Thank you very much, and thanks to you and your staff, everyone in finance and all the departments for their work on this. It really is quite well done, and I would like to just follow up on the mayor's comment about our capital levy, because that's something that I don't think residents of Oakville give us enough credit for, and I think so often we lump our tax increases, it includes the capital levy, where we've been so proactive for so many years on this and other municipalities haven't. So I've said this before, but you go to my hometown of London, Ontario, where you've got sinkholes on the road because they haven't been proactive, and it's not until you see it many years down. So I think it's 1.19% without the capital levy in there, which is really something to be applauded, and I agree with the mayor on that. It's just, I think people need to be cognizant of what is going into it, and almost half now of our tax increase is going to the capital levy. Another, it's more a point than a question, but I saw a slide actually this morning on social media about funding sources for various municipalities. So Toronto, New York City, and Berlin were the 3 examples, and how the United States and Europe have funding sources for municipalities that are outside of what we have available. So it makes it even more difficult for us to do some of these projects that we need to do. So I know the mayor's working with the province and the feds on trying to correct some of those things. I did have a question out of that, though. When you were, the mayor had brought up how other municipalities are looking to the province for assistance with their, I think it was the asset management. Will we be penalized because we are doing a good job? Should something come forward?
That has been raised by treasurers in meetings that we've had with the province, and we've been very clear that it's not fair, it's not right to penalize municipalities that are doing their due diligence and planning properly. So I can't answer that because I don't know where the province is going, but we've been very clear in voicing the fact that our residents have been paying for infrastructure renewal, and so therefore penalize them is not appropriate.
I think the history of the province is that when it flows assistance to municipalities, it's on a per capita basis, it's a sharing. And so since money is fungible, I don't expect us to be penalized. The funds we're allocating there can be reallocated somewhere else should the province actually be able to bail out the municipalities. However, when you read the province's books, there's no reason to believe that the province will actually bail them out. And so several cities have already read those tea leaves and begun borrowing heavily to try to catch up on the asset side, because the asset management plan imperative of the province continues unabated whether whether you've been saving or not. So in Mississauga, they have I believe it's $800 million they have to borrow in order to fund their catch-up, let's call it, to where we are. And as I recall the report I read from our neighbor to the west, it's $200 million that they need to borrow for that purpose. And both of them have begun. And in addition to that, they also are belatedly implementing a capital tax levy like ours. I noticed several years ago, Mississauga began that, and abandoned. I mean, they've been on. They started it. They stopped it because of not liking the increase and the cries of pain, I guess, that they received. And then they brought it back in, and it's been on again, off again. But everybody is facing the discipline that every homeowner eventually reaches when you suddenly have to replace the roof. You got to either save for it in advance, or you got to borrow to fix it when it fails. And most of our neighbors are now in that sort of hybrid position of doing both. And if they wait too long, they'll never get out of the hole. The report that was prepared for our western neighbor, I'll circulate that to council. And the reason why is it's very educational. It shows 4 different ways to deal with it, like now, a little bit later, a few years later, or really let it go. And what's really useful about the report is it shows how you get in a hole where you can never climb out. So So thanks to your question, I'll circulate that. I think you'll enjoy that.
Mr. Green, did you have something you wanted to add to this particular question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Certainly a number of the programs that we've been looking at that appear to be coming down the pipeline don't all just involve infrastructure renewal. Many of the programs are looking at brownfields, economic development, enhancement of transportation, enhancement of transit. So while we've done a very good job at looking at our own infrastructure, keeping our, as the mayor says, our roof well protected, we have a lot of other needs that are quite legitimate that would be applicable to these programs, and I would anticipate we might be going after other funds where others will be doing basic, that. And as the mayor said, it's generally on a per capita basis is often that funding requirement. The other thing are the health of our reserves, and I think the mayor's compliment to previous councils and previous administrations, it has been positive, our 1%. I mean, this municipality, since I joined it back in the 70s, our philosophy has always been pay as you go. Don't get into unnecessary debt. I think these last several councils have really demonstrated that. So what we were doing was putting away that 1%, using it directly towards capital. We've ramped it up. We've avoided paying, numerous amounts of interest over time. So our dollars out of the reserves are 100% ours, no interest, no debenture. So I think, we're fairly healthy in terms of that. But you look at our other reserves, our mill rate stabilization. You look at the weather that we're into these days, the other things that can happen. Those are the reserves that I'd like to see this municipality have a greater protection with. But our infrastructure renewal, our capital renewal, I think we're in good stead.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, I had a couple more. Could we get a copy of this presentation in a format that we can look at with a bit bigger? It's hard to read the numbers that are on here when it's on printed paper.
It is going on the website as well,
Okay.
but I'll send it to you electronically to
Okay.
council, or Kathy will.
Another comment leading into a question is the process that we use now. I can recall prior to being on council when every year I would have to come out here to speak to outdoor pools not being closed, and people from transit would come out, and I think it was Councillor Elgar who suggested a change in the process about 4 years ago, and I just want to commend staff on the way this is done now, because instead of creating a frenzy within the community on a number of issues, it's just so much better to see this come forward without those kind of cuts being proposed. So I just want to commend you on that. The two new requests that are in the budget, both of them I'm very supportive of, and I'm just wondering where in the process should I fill out the amendment to include those, or how would that be done?
No, you don't need to fill out the form for these. These requests will be addressed during the commissioner presentations, and then when we get to budget deliberations, you'll decide whether to add them into the budget or not.
Okay, thank you. And then if you could go back to the slide where you had the reserves.
Okay. This one?
That one, yes. The development charges where it's in a negative, you had said that it's in a negative, but we're looking to correct that going forward. And I just wondered, why is it in a negative, and what's changing that it will go into a positive in the future?
So the reason it's in a negative, we do development charge studies. We do a background study every 5 years. In there's revenue assumptions based on bus planning estimates. So it takes the population growth and it sort of tries to put it in chunks of time, and then you have your growth needs and your funding envelope. What we have seen since 2009 is, while those are the best planning estimates and they're the best case, the revenue that we're achieving is lower than what it showed in the study. So each year, what we do is we look at the planning applications and where we're at with development, and we look at what we think our collections will be for the year. So we've actually budgeted on a revenue amount, or a funding envelope from development charges, that's lower than what the DC study would have said. But in the past few years, the actual collections have been even lower than that, so it's put us a little bit behind. Not too bad. That's the uncommitted balance. Each year at the end of the year, there's money in there because development charges are deferred revenue. So you only take it out of the reserve as you actually spend it, and projects take 2 or 3 years to do. So that's why you're seeing a positive balance at the end of 2014. But when we factor in all the previous commitments and the commitments from this year's budget, it actually brings us to a negative. So we're very cognizant of that. It's not unusual to have it like that, but what we do over the long-term forecast is we manage the timing of growth projects based on what we're collecting to see ourselves come back out of that, because we don't want to be beholden to growth. We don't want to have to be in a situation where we're desperate to have growth come in to fund the development charges that we need for projects.
So just on that, is our parkland number lower as well because development is not where you had projected it to be?
We don't budget for parkland per se. The collections go into the reserve and they're used as a funding source for specific projects that are allowed under the Act. So we don't have a specific budget where we anticipated how much parkland we would have.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Mayor Burton, did you have a comment on that question of the reserves?
I just have some supplemental questions. So maybe you could explain how every time we do a new DC bylaw, we do an accounting of who's ahead and who's behind, and we correct for that. Could you explain how that works?
Sure. So the starting point of a DC study is looking at the balance in the reserve. So when you calculate your funding envelope, we go through the process, if our Parks and Recreation Reserve was in a negative, that's your starting point. So you figure your collections and the funding goes in to bring that positive, and what's left is what's available to spend. So it's always taken into account. If we had a positive balance in our reserve, say we had $50 million in development charges, when we do the next study, that's the starting point. So even though we could collect maybe $100 million, they say you've already got 50, so now you only get 50 more. So it always is taken into account each update.
Right, and then I'm not sure, I think it was clear in what you said in your first answer, but this is partly a result of slower than targeted growth, right?
It is, and the economy affects that, the servicing allocation at the region affects that. There's various different reasons.
And so, in a way, it's a form of good news for everybody in town who thinks we grow too fast. And when are we going to just repeat again for the public when we're doing our new development charge bylaw?
Our current bylaw expires, I think, February 1st, 2018. We were looking at the timing, whether we should be starting right now, but we understand there are some legislative changes that may be coming. There are some legislative changes that may be coming with the Development Charge Act. So once we have those, then we'll be looking at the timing of the next study.
So the minister told us in December that he was planning on releasing those by March.
Okay.
And can I safely assume that if there's any changes, it would be prudent for us to begin immediately upon passage of these changes?
I would suspect so. We have already had some initial meetings on the timing of starting the next study, so we will, if it's the right time, we will start right away.
So for a final bit of clarity, even though the current bylaw runs until 2018, we are allowed under the current Development Charges Act to reopen it at any time.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks very much.
Any other questions? Okay. My other colleagues here? No questions? Okay. Are there any members of the public here who have questions or comments? I see none. Then, members of the committee, we are ready to take receipt of the overview of the 2015 operating capital budget. Thank you. Councillor DeMoff has moved receipt. All those in favor? That's carried. We are finished with the items on the agenda today. For those who are interested or are watching, February 25th at QEP and March 3rd at Iroquois Ridge will be the open houses that will be running for the budget process. If you wish to have any one-on-one conversations with members of our staff or myself, we will then be going to our March 5th and March 9th commissioner presentations, followed by delegations March 11th and March 23rd deliberations. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.